Hello guys, welcome to New Orleans, Louisiana, the Big Easy. This video, I'm going to be going from here to here, Picayune, Mississippi. So yeah, I am in New Orleans Union Station. So yeah, let's get this trip started. I will get to you when I get on the train. So, if you're wondering, that is 301.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
So this was going to Picayune?
No, this is one. This is one. You gotta come get this one. It's gonna go to Mobile and back on the Gulf Coast in September, October. Let me get a picture.
Oh, it's got the heritage.
It's got the new
heritage edition. He can tell you about everything.
Yeah, so this is the train that is going to do that first run. And I was correct. This is the one that, this is like the opening train. So yeah, it's really interesting. We got the Horizon cars, so yeah. Let's get on. So here's my train. That is the Gulf Coast train, the one that is going to go, you know, down to, I believe it's doing test runs, and it's going to go down to, it's going to do the initial run. So this is my train. The Amtrak CRESCENT. I'm pretty late. Here's some beautiful viewliners. Never rode on one, only seen them a couple times.
You're going, she said 6 cars up, yeah.
Yeah. This is my first time ever riding the CRESCENT, so yeah, stay tuned. Make sure to, because this is going to be a very interesting ride. Late, so I won't be able to see the, you know, locomotive, but still. Station's pretty beautiful. There's a 3 down there.
Up to the right, take any seat that doesn't have signs in it. Sit together, please. Hi, where to?
So yeah, first time on the Amfleets. So as I entered the Amfleet, I realized, well, you guys already know that they're one story. That's a big difference. But I also realized, there are a lot more, Amfleets are a lot more crowded, I feel. Like, everything seems to be, like, more compact, but obviously because it's, you know, not 2 stories. Here's the side where the famous Caesar Superdome is. I don't think you can see it in this exact right now, but yeah. Here's the other side. They're pretty much the same. Just this side has the highway. This side is the side that has the train yard. So I think I'm going to be here for just the start of the ride. Just so I can, you know, see the first, you know, see the train yard. But I think I'm gonna move. So now getting onto the seat review. Very similar to the Superliner. You have your little table, you know, fold out one. that it's nice. It serves its purpose. And yeah, you know, it's pretty much the exact same as a Superliner. You have your little, right there is the footrest. You have the curtains, you know. You have outlets, you know, but it has a different reclining system. And, you know, a leg thing. You also have reading lights. They can go on, off. You can even rotate them, see? Yeah, they have white buttons, you know. So yeah, let's get on the move. So, as we started to pull out of the station, I realized that we were going pretty slow, so yeah. Let me speed this up for you a little bit. You can see that as we depart the station, you can see the Amtrak, you know, bright yellow cars. These are ballast cars because they own the track, so they have to do all the maintenance, you know. So that's why they have them. Because usually on most of their routes, the freight railroads do all the maintenance and they just run, you know. So you can see that we're like paralleling the interstate. I don't know exactly what this area right here is used for because I don't really know. Again, I don't really know much history of the New Orleans station. So yeah, that's a weird gate. Doesn't even go on the tracks. Yeah, because as you're going through like the yard, it goes fairly slow, like 10 miles per hour. So I sped it up because I don't want it to take 10 minutes to get through here. Yeah. So you go under a lot of roads, as you can see right now. Especially as you are departing New Orleans Station, Union Passenger Terminal. It's kind of funny because all the others are called Union Station, and New Orleans is literally called Union Passenger Terminal. Yeah, you can see another, we're passing under another thing. You can also notice that there's concrete ties, which, most freight railroads do not have. It's really only for heavily used trackage because it lowers maintenance. I mean, because you don't have to do as much maintenance, you know, just easier in general. So as we're coming up on the yard, you can see there's a lot of switches, obviously. You'll start to see some Amtrak equipment, like you can see some Superliners. Superliners are the double-decker cars. Then you can see some Amfleets, the one I'm riding on, and even some P-42s, the older engines. And just some general, you know, equipment, trucks, you know. Then there is the New Orleans shops right there. Has a lot of locomotives in it. Actually, not as many I've seen. One time it had like 6. So yeah. As we depart New Orleans, you'd see a lot of stuff like similar to this, you know, just the general New Orleans stuff that you'd expect to see in like the suburbs, because it's like the suburb area of New Orleans. So yeah, there's nothing really fancy about it. When I record this video, as of now, there's a really big thing that happens in New Orleans, or rather South Louisiana in general, called Mardi Gras, where everyone essentially flocks to New Orleans to watch parades. It's crazy down there at that time. So I was leaving, so the train wasn't as busy as it'd be, because I bet the southbound CRESCENT's really busy. Here's some of New Orleans' famous above-ground cemeteries. Because the reason they have the reason they have above-ground cemeteries is because you can't go down, like, you can't build a basement in New Orleans, because, like, 2 feet underground there's water. So that's why they have them. At this point, we are about to switch on to the main line. There was a freight train, you know, waiting there We're not waiting there, just sitting there. I don't know what it was doing. Maybe waiting for us. I don't know. So, yeah. The track is owned by Norfolk Southern most of the entire route. New Orleans is a pretty big hub for rail, to be completely honest. Here we are, continuing our journey through the suburbs of New Orleans. There's really nothing much, to be completely honest with you. But you can see a lot as you're leaving New Orleans. Like, you can see the skyline, the famous above-ground cemeteries, all that. So, as we get out of, the New Orleans suburbs, we get to, the industrial area, or, the outskirts, of New Orleans. You can see that here. We're going pretty fast. Audubon Park, I believe, we just passed it. It is, a giant, park. It's kind of famous, I'd say. That's where they got that 745 from. It sat there for a decent amount of time, You can see, more about that, industrial or outskirts, because, there's not as many buildings as you see when you go closer in there. You'll have, a little bit of forest, for example, right here. Then you'll have, a couple of buildings, Because, we're slowly getting into the more rural areas around the city. Just a little bit of history on New Orleans. Hurricane Katrina was one of the worst hurricanes in history for Louisiana. Came in 2005, and literally, it was one of the worst hurricanes. The entire city flooded, because New Orleans is really low at sea level, so you can see that around as we're leaving New Orleans, a lot of things are elevated, because Katrina literally flooded most of the city with 10 feet of water. Here you can see we're passing a BNSF freight train, since again, in most of Amtrak's routes, they don't own the trackage, so you'll see a lot of this. Here is a little, power station. We're currently in We're currently probably 20 miles outside of downtown area. Here's an auto rack terminal where they load auto racks. You probably see them around occasionally if you live anywhere near train tracks. Yeah, so here we are probably 4 miles from the lakefront. Essentially at the very, very edge of New Orleans. You can see, because New Orleans it's a very old city, so you'll see a lot of old architecture, and you'll see a lot of old French and Spanish architecture, because it has gone over many many countries' ownership, France, Spain. It's a very diverse city, and if you it's a very historic city, and it has a lot to do, So yeah, here we are, again, close to the lakefront. So, we're going through a little bit of some suburban areas. You can see there's a lot of, still there's a lot of tarp from a recent hurricane we've had, Hurricane Ida, and that damaged a lot of things. Here we are about to hit the Lake Pontchartrain. Here we are. Lake Pontchartrain's a really beautiful lake. It is it's brackish because it connects with the Gulf of Mexico, so it's brackish because it essentially is the endpoint of the famous Mississippi River. Yeah, it's a pretty shallow lake. It's only 20 feet deep. it's really, there's a lot of, fishermen you'll see out. Here's a more unobstructed view of the lake. Very beautiful. Yeah, overall, here's like looking down, because it's fun. It was funny because like you couldn't see the bridge below you. It wasn't scary, but right there you can see the North Shore. Because we are almost to the other side. This is probably one of the most beautiful parts of the Crescent. So like, you should, if you're looking to get like a scenic view of Lake Pontchartrain, if you're in the area, ride the Crescent up to like Slidell, because that's only like a 40-minute ride, and you can catch it back later in the evening. And it's, just look at it. Because the Crescent comes through here like around, I'd say like 9:30, so in the morning. Yeah. So my impressions are, the Crescent's better than I expected. Because I don't know what I really expected. I expected it to be like this, but I don't know. I've never rode on one-story coaches. I'm used to those double-story superliners, so yeah. Anyways, I'll get to you when we arrive in Slidell. So enjoy this music and views. Here are some of the things Louisiana is famous for, the swamplands like this. Believe it or not, a lot of people think this, but not all of Louisiana is like this. Anyways, Slidell should be pretty soon. So yeah, I'll see you when we get there. Here we are coming up on a little, Norfolk Southern coal train, I believe. You see a lot of these again because we're on freight train tracks. We're on freight company trackage, so yeah. Sometimes since Amtrak, well actually most of the time since Amtrak is on freight company's trackage, they end up getting anything from 5-minute delays to 5-hour-long delays. So just note that if you're planning to ride on Amtrak anywhere. If you're wondering how we can pass the train, it's because most trackage, well, not most, but a decent amount of trackage in the U.S. is double track, meaning one train can be on the side, waiting on the next to your train without, because it just saves times and saves delays. Oh, and here's where I recorded one of my videos. I remember. We are currently pretty close to Slidell, so I believe we're in the outskirts of Slidell right now. Actually, you can see that we're starting to slow down. So yeah, get to you when we actually pull into the station. So yeah, I moved into the cafe car as we pulled into Slidell, just to, you know, show you. Different from the Superliner, just by a little bit. Still pretty similar, other than it doesn't have a lounge, because the Crescent and all one-story routes do not have lounges. But you could count the cafe as a lounge, because you can just go chill in there. But it's only open. It isn't open the entire trip. It's only open for select points in the trip. So in the style of, you know, Simply Railway, here's a bathroom tour. Since the Amfleets are really old, the bathrooms, to be completely honest, are kind of mediocre. But they work. I found that mine was a little bit dirty. So anyways, here you can see that we are pulling up to let the sleeper car passengers off. Since the platform in Slidell isn't big enough to make one stop, you have to make multiple. The Slidell stations, you know, it's okay. I haven't really toured it, like, in depth. And here we finally get a move on. I am getting off to the next stop, which is about 20 minutes down the line from Slidell, so, you know. Anyways, early in the trip, I asked the crew member if I could tour the Viewliners because, well, I haven't seen them. So yeah, here's an abandoned route. Anyways, so back to that.
So, see how big it is? It has a shower in here. The bathroom is right there. And the bed comes out to right here. And this is the second bed right here. Okay? Let me show you the small rooms around here. Squeeze in front of you, sweetheart. It'll sleep 2 people. Those 2 chairs make a bed, and the second bed is right here. There's a sink right here, and the toilet. And let me show you the shower back here. And this is the shower. All right, pretty cool?
Yeah.
All right, you're welcome. And that's where we get coffee and juices right there. Okay, have a good.
So anyways, she was very nice. She let me tour the sleeping cars, which was very nice of her. So anyways, here is Pearl River. It's a small town on the North Shore. I don't really know much about it because I don't live there. You can see that Pearl River. It's a medium-sized town. You can see that it's not like huge like Hammond or New Orleans, obviously. Anyways, this ride here is a pretty short ride, and you know, if it's good if you live in the area and you've never had an Amtrak ride, because it's not a long one, and you know, there's not really much things that can make it bad. Because I have gone probably like 2,000 miles on Amtrak in total, and I had a pretty good time. And Amtrak crews are always just so nice. The thing is, like, though planes are faster, you have more fun on Amtrak than you do on a plane because there's just there's just more to do in general. Here is the Pearl River coming up in just a second. Here it is. It's a pretty big river. It's really high. Because in Louisiana, the thing is, you prepare your area, you prepare it like it's going to get 2 feet of water on top of it. Like look here. Like this area usually doesn't have like more than, it's usually not like this, it's just the river's really high. So I guess it kind of overflowed a little bit. Here is one of the freight yards that we see as we approach Picayune, Mississippi, where I get off. So yeah, I guess this area is just like, it has a lot of, freight traffic. Looks like we are approaching Picayune, because I just saw the water tower that said Picayune. So yeah, all I can say is thank you for joining us. Make sure to like and subscribe. If you like this video, I make videos similar to this about every couple weeks. So again, stay tuned. So as I was getting out, I was just generally pleased with my trip. So yeah, there's just so many nice people to meet. I met these 2 people. They were sitting in the seats in front of me, and they were so nice. And they had a kid with them, and the kid, it was his first trip. I remember that. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Astro Brady out.